What's good, YouTube? It's Nas, and we back with another video. Broke the 300 subscribers, of course. Gonna keep posting every day. But today's video, we're gonna be talking about one of the best dunkers of all time, and we're gonna be talking about Blake Griffin. And Blake Griffin was more than a dunker, for real. Like, it sucks that his athletic peak was taken out so easily or so early, because Blake was really dunking on shit. Blake was jumping over shit, and I remember when I watched highlights with my brother, just watching old Blake Griffin highlights. It's still crazy to this day. Like, I don't know, but Blake Griffin carved out a 14-year career, and it was a great career. Nonetheless, he had to change his game around, but let's just get into it. In his rookie season, in the 2009-2010 season, Blake Griffin averaged 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 1.5 assists in 6 games before he got injured and his season was cut short, so didn't really do anything this season. The next season, basically where they gave him the Rookie of the Year the very next season, even though he was a sophomore, he averaged 22.5 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, being one of the best players in the league off the jump, and he was the number 1 pick for a reason. Like, come on, man. He won the dunk contest this year, too, and Blake Griffin just cemented himself as one of the best players off the jump, like I said, and he was like 22, 21. So Blake Griffin being that good so fast, it just showed that. And he wasn't even taking no jump shots either. He was just taking mid-ranges and getting to the basket. And once he got to the basket, you knew that shit was over. There was no guarding that, bro. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But in the 2011-2012 season, he averaged 20.5 points per game, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists. His second season, he made the All-Star teams for his second season, basically. But he made the All-Star team this season, and nothing really to say. He was playing with the Lob City Clippers, him, CP, and DeAndre Jordan, and it sucks they didn't get nothing out of that, because that team was really good for a couple years, and I like that team because mostly my brother was a fan of that team. But hey, man, it just sucks they didn't get nothing out of that. In the 2012-2013 season, Blake averaged 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. This would be the lowest amount of points he averaged in his prime, I would say. Not after his prime, but this would be the lowest amount of points, the 2012-2013 season. And we all know that Blake Griffin in his early days, or still, he's known for getting injured. And that's really what was happening in the playoffs. If I remember correctly, every season he was getting injured in the playoffs. He labeled him as injury prone, but he was such a good player that people in the NBA didn't care, because in the next season, he had one of his best seasons. He averaged 24 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 4 assists. He was an all-star starter this year, and this was the Clippers' best chance to win this season. And what happened? Him and Chris Paul ended up getting hurt after they beat the No, they didn't beat the Spurs. That was the next season, but yeah, y'all get the point. What I was about to say, the 2014-15 season, when they had their best chance, he averaged 22 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 5 assists. And both Chris Paul and Blake Griffin got injured when they had their best chance to win. That was the season where the Warriors obviously got their first ring, and the Clippers were a really good team that season, and they probably would have had a chance to beat the Warriors that season if CP and Blake didn't get hurt. But you can't say what ifs in basketball. Like, come on, bro. We all know that. And in the 2015-16 season, Blake only played 35 games. He averaged 21.5 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, and 5 assists. And no playoff success again. And that's really was the knock on Blake Griffin on the Clippers. But the next season, in the 2016-17 season, where the Clippers were good again, the last season with Chris Paul on the team, obviously, he averaged 21.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Blake was, in my opinion, Blake was better than Chris Paul, but they would say it was Chris Paul's team, and I understand why, because Chris Paul was still an all-star at that time too. The season before he was an all-star, Blake was hurt the season before, and he just signed a contract extension, but he thought actually that the Clippers were his future, and he would obviously be wrong. In the 2017-18 season, he played 33 games for the Clippers. He averaged 22.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. He was obviously traded to Detroit, where he had his best season in Detroit, but it wasn't really the same as peak Blake Griffin. He got even better, though, I would say, because that's where he developed his three-point shot. He was one of the best three-point shooters in the league, too, even though he lost some bounce, obviously, but he sacrificed to become an even better player, and Detroit Blake was still catching bodies too. I remember he dunked on Giannis, which is crazy. And I don't know. I wonder what Blake highlights I'm going to show in this video. See the Clippers or that best season in Detroit season. In 2017-18 season, he averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. That 2017-18 season, the same season where he got traded. And the next season, he returned to the All-Star game in the 2018-19 season. Blake had his best season, like I was saying. He averaged 24.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, and 5 assists. 5.5 assists, actually. He led the Pistons to the playoffs with that Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson team, and the Pistons were good that season. It's too bad they had to play LeBron. Like, that should... No, they didn't play LeBron. They played the Raptors, and Blake ended up getting hurt, which you could say that was a part of Blake Griffin's career, too. He got injured, but he obviously played on his terrible foot for Detroit, and he was really never the same player after that injury. And the next season, the 2019-20 season, before the bubble, he averaged 15.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, and 3 assists. He played 18 games that season. In the 2020-2021 season, 20 games with Detroit, he averaged 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He didn't want to be in Detroit anymore, so he forced his way to Brooklyn, where that super team was made, with Kyrie, KD, and Harden. Obviously, we remember that. I can't believe that was 4 years ago. That's fucking crazy. But they didn't do anything because KD's big ass foot was on the line. So imagine if his foot would not on the line. A lot of people would be having rings. Like LaMarcus Aldridge would have a ring, Blake Griffin would have a ring, Harden would have a ring, Kyrie would have a second, KD would have his third. Like, imagine if that nigga foot. Oh man, that shit. It's just crazy to me how one foot could change some shit. And he averaged 10 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. His last productive season in the NBA, really. He led the league in charge, I'm pretty sure. But in the 2021-2022 season with Brooklyn, he averaged 6.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. We saw the complete drop-off. The minutes went down too. And he went to Boston his last season in the NBA. In the 2022-2023 season, he averaged 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. He never got that ring that he was really chasing, but it doesn't matter, bro. That Blake Griffin was a highlight machine, and I wonder if he's going to make the Hall of Fame, because he was an all-star caliber player. Like, I don't know, bro. But Blake Griffin's accolades speak for themselves. He won Rookie of the Year in 2011. He won the dunk contest in 2011 too, his rookie season. He was an all-star 6 times, 2011 through 2015. And then when he returned to the all-star game in 2019, because obviously in the middle of the seasons he was injured, he made All-NBA second team 2012 through 2014, the years of his peak, really, in my opinion. All-NBA third team in 2015 and 2019 when he returned there. And in Blake Griffin's 13-year career, sorry, he had 14,513 points. And his career high was 50, and he retired in April 2024 last year. And in my opinion, Blake Griffin is a legend because he was a part of my generation. I got to actually watch him and remember him play. But let me know how y'all feel about Blake down below. Subscribe. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If y'all want to see some more, there's a video on the left and the video on the right. Click on them.